What is up, everybody? Welcome to today's News Tonight. I'm your host for this episode, Steve Bowling. Before we jump into it, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. If you'd like to watch us live here on today's News Tonight, you can join us over on patreon.com/gbgaming, where for just $5 a month, you can join our live audience tier, which will allow you to watch us record and talk about things like Guyver and dentists before the episode begins. I'm joined today by both of my co-founders in Good Vibes Gaming, in Derek Bittner and Ash Paulson. And before I introduce our special guest, we have a sponsor for this episode in Game Explain. They asked us to read the following. Wishing you guys the best of luck on your new adventure from all of us at Game Explain, Stunt Race FX Forever. Our sponsors get one spot every week for the month that they've sponsored us, so that's where we'll see if they want to update us next week on something new to read. But joining us today, we have a very special guest, someone with whom we have a little bit of a shared history. Tim Rogers, formerly of Kotaku, currently of Action Button. How's it going, Tim?
Well, formerly of Action Button before Kotaku.
That's true.
Now Action Button again. Also, when you said Stunt Race FX, what game are you talking about? Were you talking about Wild Tracks, as it's called in Japan?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I don't
game.
think it came out in America when I was a teenager, and it was called Stunt Race FX. And then after that, I played it at that time. Then I lived in Japan for 10 years, at which point I never played Stunt Race FX. However, now I call it Wild Tracks.
You didn't miss anything. You haven't missed
sanctimoniously.
A thing. It's not a
I don't
game.
call it that for any. I forget that it's called. That's a complicated joke. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I'll try to make the jokes less complicated.
I hadn't actually played Stunt Race FX until it came out on the Switch shop or Switch Online, and I was like,
It's on the Switch Online?
Yeah, it is.
I feel like every time I launch the Switch Online, there's like something on there that I'm like, I'd play this, and then it's like, oh, but I can. If it's right there, I can just play it. And then sometimes I'll open it up and play Super Metroid for like an hour, and then you just forget Super Metroid's on there, and you open up the Switch Online, you're like, Super Metroid's on here, dude, and then you're just playing it. That's weird.
Well, now it's got DKC 2, and that's like a welcome surprise every time I boot it up. I always forget that they've already added DKC 2, and I'm like, every time I see it, hell yeah, Diddy's Conquest, let's go.
I haven't actually played that yet, but I have been playing a little bit of Mario's Picross, which has been fun.
Oh, I'd play that. See, that's where it comes from. It's like, I'd play that, and it's like, oh, well, you can, you have it, you own it, just get in there. It's like, I want to play DKC 2, Diddy's Kong Quest, as it's called. Really, it's such a good name. It's like it
really is.
Did you know that it's a pun on the phrase conquest?
It took me longer than I care to admit to realize that, because for the longest time I did think it was
Really?
Diddy Kong's Quest, and then I was
Diddy
like,
Kong.
oh no, it's
Oh,
just
wow.
It drives
Diddy's
me crazy
Kong
when
Quest.
people say that. It's like,
Yeah.
no, Diddy's Conquest.
Well, I didn't
You want to know
own
what?
it.
You want to know what
Yeah.
drives me crazy? I'm going to tell you what drives me crazy. Okay, so I've worked on video games before. Before I was at actionbutton.net, before I was at Kotaku, before I was back at actionbutton, youtube.com/actionbutton. I've worked on some video games. I know how it feels to work on video games. I keep seeing people, both in the press, in my circle of friends and acquaintances, all over Twitter, randos and such, referring to the game, and some of these people are professional video game talker-abouters. And I see them en masse. That's a Latin phrase. Or is it? Referring to the game Ghost of Tsushima as Ghosts of Tsushima. I have seen critics who wrote reviews of the game incessantly calling it Ghosts of Tsushima. I have no stock whatsoever in that game. I have not invested any money in it. And it just makes me feel really sad to know that people are calling it Ghosts of Tsushima. I made some video games before, the names of which have been misspelled or styled wrongly in publications. I made a game, the title of which was one word, that everyone figured it was okay to split into two words. Ruining my SEO, Jerry. That is what they're doing. So Ghost of Tsushima, I haven't played it. You know why I haven't played it? Because I was waiting for the Sony PlayStation 5 to come out. Because I knew it was going to be 60 FPS on the PlayStation 5. I could just feel it. And then Vindication, my friend. I saw all over the Twitter. They're just like they tweeted about it, like it's 60 FPS on PlayStation 5. Loading times are faster. The horse is louder, apparently. The horse hooves are like 400. No, it's not true.
Oh, okay.
I made that up.
I want it to be.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, people wanted a louder horse.
400% louder. So I'm ready to play it on my PlayStation 5. I got my LG C10 77-inch OLED screen over here. And I got my my PlayStation 5. Eagle-eyed viewers will spot it there behind me. You see that? There it is. There it is back there.
Cloaked in shadow.
I'm still looking for one. I still can't find one. But
I was lucky to be sort of in a position of minor internet celebrity status, wherein I was able to ask in a post on my Patreon, colloquially, I broached the subject. I colloquially broached it. I said, I still don't have a PlayStation 5, and I wouldn't mind having one. So if anybody is like holding on to a pre-order for somebody that, whatever. And then a very kind denizen of my Discord server, discord.gg/actionbutton, sent me a message and said he was holding on to a second pre-order for somebody else, and then it turns out the other person didn't want it.
Nice.
There's a lot of I don't know if it's misinformation, disinformation, or just lack of information out there. I didn't know. For example, even I didn't know, and I'm a professional with a Patreon where I get paid to talk about video games at irregular intervals for great lengths of time. I did not know that Ratchet & Clank was not a launch game.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know a launch game, but yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's
First
spring
half of
sometime.
2021.
It was featured so heavily in their presentation. I just assumed it was a launch game. However, I did not assume that Horizon was the launch game. I'm not that dumb.
I wish.
So it's like I figured, the Horizon, that's like there's no way that's coming out. I figured, I don't know. I played that Spider-Man game. I figured Insomniac can just churn out a full, perfect, big budget video game, two at the same time. Why not, right? Because I don't know. And then I didn't realize that until like 4 days ago, on the eve of my receipt of the PlayStation 5. I was like this. I was like, I'm going to get a whole bunch of games on my PlayStation 5. I'm going to get Demon's Souls. I'm going to get Spider-Man. Heck yeah, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to get Ratchet & Clank. And then I was like, nobody's tweeted about Ratchet & Clank. no one in my purview has tweeted about it. And I looked into it, and it's just like, there is no Ratchet & Clank.
That's kind of what I'm waiting on to get a PS5. Like, one, in funds, and two, Ratchet & Clank. But that would be the big selling point for me.
Yeah, man, that Ratchet & Clank is going to be good. I hope they have a 60 FPS, an optional 60 FPS mode, because those are all the rage now. And I've seen a lot of people, I've perceived a lot of people out there on the internet coming around to 60 FPS. First of all, did you know there's people out there who don't like 60 FPS? They don't like it. They think it looks bad. You weirdos.
Yeah, I've heard some people say it looks too unnatural.
Yeah,
I've
seen that.
I don't know. Some people say it looks cinematic when it's lower frame rate, and it's like, buddy, even in Peter Jackson's The Hobbit, running at 48 frames per second, the movie theater seat is not equipped with a right analog stick with which to whip the camera around as I please. So it's like, when you're whipping the camera around, you're gonna cut your eyeballs on 20 FPS, 30 FPS. I mean, come on. I want that smooth motion. I've been indoctrinated into the PC lifestyle too much, so it's I can't do it. The first game I booted up on my LG C10 77-inch OLED was Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I played for 10 minutes, and I found the 30 FPS disgusting at that large screen.
Oh, it didn't upgrade?
Love that game. I think it's my game of the year.
Same.
I'm pretty sure. Man, I want that to be at a higher frame rate, and I know it. The menu elements run at 60 FPS. The little jiggle on the cursor.
Well, you know what they're gonna. They probably didn't upgrade it because there's totally a PS5 version, a remaster.
Absolutely.
That is utterly shameful of them.
But that's also Square Enix.
If that is true, that is utterly disgraceful, because they could. It's made in Unreal Engine 4, and I may or may not know one or many more things about Unreal Engine 4. I don't want to be a Nintendo fanboy on a forum who says, "Why don't they just press the Wii U button?" Do you see people saying about this when when Wind Waker was ported? It's like, oh, they just pressed a button. It's like they just assume there's a magic button that they press to port it. I know there's not a magic button, though. I can estimate maybe about like 3 or 4 weeks of work to just unlock the frame rate for me and get it all back through the cert process. They are forcibly barring me from the PC version by not releasing it, right? So it's like I want my frames, and I got this PlayStation 5 down here. Still not out of the box, unfortunately. I'm too busy with work. I'm too busy staring at my work project and just feverishly excited about playing Demon's Souls on it. It's going to be Demon's Souls. It's going to be the first game.
Interesting.
It's not in the box. I love Demon's Souls. Love that game. One of my all-time faves. I was scrolling down Twitter and I just saw like a screenshot from it, and I thought I was all cynical about the PlayStation 5. I thought I was cynical about the next generation because I've been around for too many of these video game console hardware launches, and I just see a screenshot of Demon's Souls and I'm like, oh man. I was just like, it's like I've got a PC that bigger than my refrigerator over here. You know, I've got a 3090. You know, I mean, come on, right?
Oh wow!
And it's like, and at the same time, it's like there is nothing in the world so good in a video game, so hardware obliterating, so line blurring, as good technical art direction. That's why Wind Waker is still the best looking video game of all time. It's technical art direction.
Fair.
The technical art directors are heroes. I mean, I know Demon's Souls had a little bit of creative art direction problems with this new one where they made some of the monsters look different, and that's upsetting. However, technically, I'm just looking at some of what they did with this one screenshot that I saw. I try to avoid looking at stuff that I'm excited about.
I don't know if I don't know how much you've looked at it too much, because I know I did see one sticking point in the as an icon that people were very upset about.
Oh no!
Demon's Souls.
An icon?
Yeah.
This is the sort of thing I actually get upset about, so let me know.
Okay. So here's the big thing. I don't know much about Demon's Souls. I played a little bit of it, the original, but I never beat it. Certainly not enough to see this. But apparently,
I think most people didn't beat it.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm on the road to not beating it right now.
So apparently there was a cat icon, and it actually had a 3D model of a cat at one point. Not a 3D model anymore. It's just a flat 2D, almost like emblem of a cat. So people are like, "What the hell? Where's the cat?"
Somebody's got a 2-hour 48
canceled.
minute. Yeah, you know somebody's got a 2-hour 48 minute pre-order canceled video. Cancer.
Yeah.
You know they.
Somebody
got
would
that.
say that gave him cancer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone would.
That's no good. I'm gonna play the heck out of that game. I will. You know what? I'm gonna play all the way through Spider-Man again. I don't care. I'll turn the ray tracing on. I'll turn it off. I'll flick it back and forth. I'll settle on something. I want that 60 FPS web swinging.
I really want to talk to you after you've tried that, because you can't have 60 FPS and ray tracing. You have to choose one or the other.
You gotta choose.
So I'll be curious to see where you land.
Not on this bad boy right here that I'm slapping.
Well, yeah,
there's don't gotta choose.
I was about to say, Tim's over here living my hardware dreams.
I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077, 4K, 120 frames per second, and it's going to kill me. 77 inches.
I saw two people in our chat say a 3090 when you said it. Like, you just blew their minds immediately.
That GPU.
That means like nothing to me, but that sounds amazing.
Me either. I'm not a PC tech person.
Let's put it this way. Everyone's talking about those loading times on the PlayStation 5, the NVMe M.2 SSD with the 4th gen PCIe, I believe.
Yep.
Welcome to my 2019, Jerry, is what I'm saying. So it's there was like a Digital Foundry, or not Digital Foundry, it was like GameSpot did a test that was like, how fast can we load Red Dead Redemption, and it's like 44 seconds or whatever, and then I booted it up on my PC, 41 seconds. So
definitely worth.
I'm just imagining Tim is in Die Hard. It's like, welcome to the party, fellas.
Yeah. Welcome to the party. I am 100% on board. So I mean, I'm not trying to brag here. It's just if you saw what I forced myself to do with all this hardware, you would weep for me. I weep for myself on occasion. So I force myself to do a lot of very difficult. The 3090 is not an excessive purchase for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I'm still getting it up to 95% of that. 24
the amount of
VRAM.
So I mean, watching your backlog of videos, the amount of motion graphics you create for every review is pretty ridiculous. So I can only imagine, because I'm over here with like an RTX 2080. Like, to give you guys a frame of reference, because I know Ash and Derek are like, what? Tim's GPU is almost bigger than my whole computer.
It's a PlayStation 8,
Wow.
basically.
Yeah.
In terms of power, I like
Jeez.
jokingly called it, when I got it, I did a picture on Twitter. I said I didn't get a PlayStation 5 review unit. However, EBGA sent me a PlayStation 8. That's not even really a joke, I don't think. I mean, obviously, I think it's basically probably around a PlayStation 8. So maybe a 6 or 7. Maybe a 7. Maybe 8 was a little bit of an exaggeration. But it's pretty future-proofed. So
yeah, people don't think about this often, but GPUs for consoles are usually a few years behind whatever comes out the same year that console did. Let's go ahead and jump into our news topics, because we got a few of them.
Oh, good
Unfortunately,
idea,
a couple of them link. So the first big news story of the week, or of the weekend, is that Capcom was hit with a massive ransomware attack, and over a terabyte of employee customer data and info on new games was stolen. This is the shittiest way to find out about new stuff.
It really is.
But it doesn't change the fact that it is news. So we found out that Monster Hunter Rise is coming to PC, along with Stories 2, I believe.
Yes.
And I know a bunch of other worse and unsavory
do we want to get
things
into
I
what
wouldn't
it's
wanna
being
mention.
shown? Like, do we want to throw a spoiler warning on here for like people who maybe trying to avoid this sort of stuff? I'm not sure.
I think the info is out there, but yeah, if you don't want to know about what Capcom's doing, then maybe skip over this if you're watching the video on demand, or plug your ears if you're here with us live. But Derek, you probably looked a little further into this than I did, because I didn't have a bunch of time to go through the leak. What are the big notes here?
Well, on the Resetera post, there's I didn't look into too many details, because I'm like, save some fun for me. But like, there's details on Resident Evil Village. There is some new project named Guillotine. It's on the Switch in February and other platforms in May. There's the Monster Hunter stuff you said. Apparently Resident Evil 4 for Oculus VR, because Resident Evil 4 has to be on every freaking thing out there. The source code for Devil May Cry 2 and Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles was put out there as well.
So random.
So yeah, it's interesting. Also, like financial details, like Google Stadia paid Capcom $10 million to put Resident Evil 7 and 8 on the platform.
$10 million, huh?
Yeah. But the biggest thing I've seen people talk about by far out of all this is I'm going to need either Ash or Tim's.
Gyakuten
Saiban.
Saiban.
Yeah.
1 and 2
Gyakuten
is
Saiban.
getting a Western localization confirmed for the PlayStation 4, Switch, and Steam. Woo! It has quality of life additions like trophy support and case chapter select menus like the other Ace Attorney games. Dual audio for the Japanese release, but only English for the overseas release. No
That's
Japanese.
so weird.
I think they said there was some sort of copyright thing, I guess, with the voice acting. I don't know why though.
It could be one of the voice actors has some sort of stipulation in a contract.
It could be.
Could be.
And it's like they need to pay them more for overseas distribution.
One interesting detail here is that apparently the localization is going to aim to avoid criticism of whitewashing. So no more Apollo eating burgers, which is nice.
They gave an example of like, look at the evidence, and the Japanese will just have subtitles rather than replacing it entirely, which might be even easier on the localization, just because they have to rather change graphics or anything like that. It's going to be $40. It will get a physical edition in North America, but not in PAL regions. Apparently it was going to be getting announced spring with the summer release. Other thing is, Ace Attorney 7 is apparently in development, and Ace Attorney 4 through 6 collection is under consideration.
Please let that be a thing that happens.
This is like the gold mine for Ace Attorney fans. This is stuff people have wanted.
Yeah.
The only thing they could do better than this is they also had like a collection that included the Ace Attorney Investigations games, because we never got the second one overseas either. But still, it's progress.
My wife is going to be over the moon about this, because we played Ace Attorney 1 through 3 on WiiWare together. And we've tried to play Apollo Justice together on the DS, but it's not the same. It's a lot more fun to play on the TV. So I'm so glad to hear, she's going to be over the moon to hear that the Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2 are eventually coming.
You want to know something that I've been keeping in my pocket for like a really long time? Or you got to keep some stuff in your pocket, right, in your life, first of all. I played Ace Attorney. Is that what the game called Gyakuten Saiban in Japan?
Yes.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
That's a joke. That's Phoenix Wright? Do you mean Naruhodo Yuichi? Is that what you mean? His last name is Naruhodo, which means I see, or now I get it. I played those games 1, 2, and 3 on the Game Boy Advance in Japan.
Oh, wow.
And I loved them, and it was during my formative time of having just learned enough Japanese to play a video game. I loved those games, and I've been like wanting to replay them for a very long time, and I knew when I saw that I could play them on a TV, I was like, I'm going to play them on a TV someday. I'm going to do it again. And now it's gotten just far enough, just long enough has transpired that I've probably forgotten all the solutions to all of the situations. So I'm ready to play them again.
Well, if you've only played the Game Boy Advance version of the first game, then you have a brand new case doing experience since that was added with the DS version. So
oh yeah,
and it's
I'm
a really good case too.
I'm excited.
It's widely considered one of the best cases out there, and leads into Ace Attorney 4.
It might have my
played
favorite
any of them.
villain in the entire series. Actually, that fifth case in Ace Attorney 1. Yeah. Maybe one of my favorite villains.
I just wish that I could play. So the Ace Attorney collection it's on Steam and it's on all the other stuff, right? The 1, 2, and 3. Does that let me have Japanese voices and English subtitles? Because I would like to play it that way. Because I like seeing the differences. I'm a weirdo. I'm an idiot.
I'm not sure.
I mean, your whole Final Fantasy VII review was based on the differences in translation, the Let's Mosey series, right?
Yeah, I can't get enough of it now. I've become addicted to it. Like I play Persona 5 with Japanese voices and English subtitles, and I just love I love the cognitive dissonance of hearing the different thing from what I'm seeing in the subtitles, and I love just interpreting them and taking them in at the same time. It's very fun. My Japanese is nowhere near as good as yours, but that's how I'm currently playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. And I'm enjoying the hell out of that because you do pick up on things. It's like, no, they didn't say that. Like you can translate that in a very different way. But at the same time, I would encourage anybody who's like learning Japanese to play one of those Yakuza games, and the subtitles are close enough that you can and they're using like real words. It's not Final Fantasy 13 where every second word is some jargon, some in-world jargon. It's like they're just using real words and talking like normal individuals. So I think those games are great. Whereas
and Like a Dragon makes multiple references to Dragon Quest, which I think is also really cool.
I love that.
Oh yeah,
I have to play this game.
I'm a big fan of that. Man, Dragon Quest is Dragon the best. When is somebody gonna hack Square Enix and reveal plans for Dragon Quest 12?
Right?
Or just localize Dragon Quest 10 over here.
Hack them.
Don't hack.
That's
Tim, it looks like Dukemon answered your question, unfortunately, in the negative. The voices in Ace Attorney change with the language text, so it isn't possible, unfortunately.
Somebody make a mod.
Yeah. Right?
I'm sure it's out there.
They should let me. It's because clearly it's probably like in system settings or whatever. You have to like choose. It's like at some top level selection.
Yeah.
I don't know, they should let me. They should let me have them both. Final Fantasy VII Remake did.
That's true.
Now when are they going to let me have 60 FPS on my 77-inch TV?
Oh man,
I'm not bragging about my 77
TV, and I'm really jealous.
I'm not bragging. Well, I have bad eyes, so I have medically acknowledged bad eyes. So it's okay. So be not jealous. Know that I probably enjoy my 77-inch less than you enjoy your 65-inch.
That's how I'm gonna fall asleep tonight. I'm just gonna dream of Tim somehow enjoying his TV less than mine.
I gotta sit real close, and I gotta squint real hard. So and I gotta wear sunglasses, like literally. So there's
wow, really?
Yeah, I got some problems with my optic nerve.
No good.
Let's not. We don't need to bring the chat down too much.
Well,
I want to let everyone know.
I mean, there is other stuff, because as cool as it is to learn about these plans, and it would have been awesome to get them just straight out. There's some really bad stuff that got leaked in here, as far as somebody's passport got posted.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. That's horrible.
Yeah,
these goddamn hackers.
It is.
I mean, game leaks and project leaks are one thing, and it's still unfortunate, but revealing personal information is just a whole nother line that should never be crossed.
Oh yeah, this is
and
Capcom has said they are pursuing lawful,
Well, yeah, somebody's going to get arrested.
Oh yeah, I think Nintendo did the same thing. Did we ever hear if they caught them or not for their Giga
I don't
leak?
think that anybody's been picked up for the Nintendo leaks this year.
Oh yeah, the Nintendo leaks thing, man. I had some
leak.
opinions about that I kept to myself because I didn't want people to yell at me on Twitter. I was like, oh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't really think we deserve. I wouldn't want the source code leaked.
Yeah, I was going to say
one of my games, for example.
Yeah,
No.
Exactly. I was about to say, as a developer, you probably have a very unique perspective on this.
I saw my buddy Mike Micah make a tweet where he had said, I don't know if you all know Mike Micah of Other Ocean. He's an all-around classic individual. He made a tweet where he was like, in all seriousness, this Nintendo leak's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It's like there's a lot of stuff people don't want to get seen. He got dogpiled on by haters. Just people like his tweet got retweeted enough, and he provided enough context in his little mini thread that he wrote up. And people they don't read the whole thread, or they just they only hear what they want to. They only cared about knowing that Luigi was in Mario 64, and
Luigi was flipping the bird at one point, or other crap like that. Oh,
and
God.
then there's all the Yoshi sprites, the unused Yoshi sprites and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like that stuff. It's like it to see people be like, oh, it's our right. We have the right to know that Yoshi looked like that at some point. It's like, I mean, okay, if you think so. Though on the other hand, the Yoshi you got in the game was the real Yoshi.
Yeah.
I saw someone reply to Mike Micah with, "If I were an artist and I worked on something and it didn't make it into the final product, I would want to share that with people."
It did make it into the final product.
Even if you did a draft of Yoshi that did not work as the final Yoshi. Art is a collaborative process. Video game development is a collaborative process done by many people in more nebulous ways than are often talked about. And even if you're a secondary artist who draws up a sketch of Yoshi that someone finalizes later, you worked on Yoshi. That Yoshi in the game is you're in there. And it's like I think hearing these weird leakers and hackers morally and ethically justify the sort of the fact that we have the right to this stuff or whatever. It's like, no, you don't really. And trying to be like, I don't know. Don't second guess the way an artist feels about art. If you're not one and you haven't ever been one. I'm not calling myself an artist. I think I've empathized at some point. So it's anyway, I feel this similarly about this Capcom thing. Though it doesn't look like it's not on some Giga Leak level, is it?
It is. It's pretty bad. Well, Dukamon
apparently
says
1 terabyte.
Yeah, thanks, Ash.
And we've only gotten 30 gigs.
They've only revealed 30 gigs of 1 terabyte of information.
1 terabyte is about one of my videos. So, in terms of the source data of one of my videos, so they got the source code for DMC2 has been leaked.
Yeah.
What's DMC3, man? Come on.
Yeah, that's like the least valuable thing.
Yeah.
I don't want the source code for DMC2. What am I supposed to do with that? Replicate, reverse engineer a bad game?
Yeah.
I mean,
you can make it good. That's what people were trying to do with Sonic 06 for how many freaking years?
People
make
modify
it good. I once asked Eric Chahi for the source code to Out of This World, Another World, and he gave it to me.
Oh wow.
I said I would make the controls fun, and he said good luck. And I couldn't do it. I could not figure it out. So good. So avast ye hackers, see what you can do with DMC2.
You guys know that our good buddy John Cartwright must be over the moon right now, because not only are we getting Resident Evil 4 Oculus VR, but that's separate from the Resident Evil 4 remake that we also know is coming.
True.
So
I don't know if he's
Resident Evil.
I don't know if he's over the moon about Resident Evil 4 remake though. I think he's pretty freaking nervous.
after
about
3,
that.
maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah.
Man,
After 3,
a
perhaps
Resident
not.
Evil 4 remake. Lord, I guess that's
Could be
going to be
good.
fun.
It could be good.
Could go
Let's
either
move
way.
on. There's unfortunately some more bad news today. Today wasn't a good feel kind of day, but USGamer unfortunately is shutting down due to employee redundancy. We
that.
just had their editor-in-chief Kat Bailey on the show last Thursday.
She was our first guest.
That's right.
Yeah,
So,
our
Tuesday.
first ever
it is
guest. Yeah.
deeply unfortunate. We love USGamer here at GVG. We love Kat. We love the rest of the crew. I think we've all met and hung out with them various times.
Yeah.
And they're just a classy group of people. They're all really great folks. Really,
They did
really
amazing
great
work.
at their craft, and
They
it
really-
was one of my
yeah.
go-to sites. So I'm really sad to hear that it's shutting down. I don't really understand the rationale behind it. But this kind of thing is increasingly common in games media, unfortunately. Lots of quality outlets just shutting down or being purchased by assholes. In the case of Kotaku,
Oh yeah, those. I remember hearing something about that.
But
This is I'm
we should
a
mention,
huge
though,
fan of
that-
US Gamer, and this is just really, really heartbreaking. I hate this for them.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can support.
It sucks. I read that website.
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I liked
Same.
it.
and you guys can support Kat by I think that she's continuing on with Axe of the Blood God. So if you want to listen to her RPG podcast, that's definitely something worth
yeah,
listening to and
Yeah.
supporting.
she's mentioned that it'll continue. She hasn't given details on what that's going to look like yet, but I imagine when she does, we'll make sure it's a topic here on today's news tonight. Fortunately, though, let's wash the
Go back to
taste
fun.
of bad news out of our mouths. Come up with something fun for once, right?
Right.
So the producer of Yakuza says that he wants to work there on an out there Sonic game. The exact quote is, "It's an IP I haven't come to before in the sense that I want to try it. Well, Sonic, after all, when you hear Sega, you think Sonic. I'd like to get involved once at least, but for me, the so-called Sonic as well, if I were to do it, I wouldn't do Sonic as it was. I would like to make a completely different Sonic, and I am all for this."
I want it.
Same. I want it so
Daisuke's-
bad.
Daisuke Sato is the one that delivered that quote in an interview, and he's the producer behind Yakuza Like a Dragon, which again we've been saying is fantastic. So and is super left field and weird, especially
Make
for
a better
defined-
version of Sonic Chronicles.
Chronicles.
As
Oh,
Charlie
man,
Bird
what a-
says, Sonic like a hedgehog.
I love that.
Chronicles.
Sonic Chronicles is one of
Oh,
the
Sonic like a hedgehog. That is good.
most horrific examples of just wasted potential. Sonic Chronicles could have been so awesome. And
Yeah, BioWare, man.
Yeah.
The BioWare Sonic game. This was such a wild I remember laughing really hard at the concept when it was announced, and then when the game came out, just never playing it, but looking at screenshots and such.
And it
I would
also-
play that.
it also committed the grave sin of being a Sonic game with a terrible soundtrack. Like,
Yeah, that's
that
so weird.
Never happens. And
Sonic games they're all about the music. You got Masato Nakamura from Dreams Come True doing the music from 1 and 2. You've got our favorite good boy Hideki Naganuma out there on Sonic Rush. Just a whole
Right.
bunch of chill dudes making slamming beats. I believe the time is ripe for Sonic to come back. I remember the trailer for Sonic 2006 at E3 2006. The trailer
Same.
began with the words, "Sonic the Hedgehog is back." I remember them saying he's back. It's like, oh, okay. It's like every time they make a new game, he's back, I guess. I think the time is ripe to actually make a good new Sonic game. And he says to make one out there. There is this legacy of Sega games, a Segacy, that has been untouched
Segacy.
for a while. Let us not forget Toshihiro Nagoshi got started on Sega Rally. Was a programmer no, he was an artist on Daytona, programmer on Sega Rally, a designer of F-Zero GX and AX, 1.5 of the greatest games of all time. He made, then spearheaded this whole Yakuza thing. There's this legacy in there. There's games like Skies of Arcadia Valkyria Chronicles, Sakura Wars. There's this vast, beautiful tapestry of Sega games out there that haven't been touched in a while, don't get touched a whole lot. We saw the Sakura Wars remake recently, which is beautiful. I played a bunch of that. There's just a whole lot of stuff out there that when Sega decides to bring something back, like they did with Sakura Wars very recently, it's like, they've become so powerful in the last few years with these Yakuza games. These Yakuza games have gotten so impressive, and they are hands down, in my opinion, the best AAA video games being made right now, because they take weird risks and chances. There's a whole lot of strange stuff going on in there. They're packed with content. They're juicy and delicious. They're exactly what Assassin's Creed games think they are, except they're doing it just it feels effortless and breezy and frivolous and wispy and beautiful. These games are wonderful. And I believe that creative team, with that whatever creative blueprint they're working from, I think they could do goddarn anything. And I think you want to make a Sonic game, you put him on there. Get Sato-san to make a Sonic game. Get Hideki Naganuma. Get Yuzo Koshiro to do the music, right?
Right.
Hell
Yuzo Koshiro turns out good work all the time. I don't know. There's this, give me Skies of Arcadia. Bring Skies of Arcadia back, I think if you got somebody involved with Yakuza saying they want to make a Sonic, just give it to me, right?
Yeah.
Same.
Oh, absolutely.
They have my blessing.
Yeah.
I would love to see this come to life. Just because I think Sonic is Sega in general feels very risk averse these days, and I would love for them to do something just crazy out of left field with a character. They obviously aren't doing well by doing what they think works with Sonic, so I'd be happy for them to take a chance on something different. I mean, Like a Dragon is a huge departure for the Yakuza series, and it works. So I would definitely trust Ryuga Gotoku Studio to do whatever the hell they want.
Smart people over there. They're just smart people. They're just monstrously smart people. So just let them do whatever they want. Let them take over.
I want to see Outrun brought back. We've had, we've had the original ported to everything, but I want to see a proper new Outrun or Outrun Online Arcade for the Xbox Live Arcade version. That's still locked.
The Ferrari stuff.
Yeah, that's still locked on that platform, and you can't even get it anymore. Bring that back.
I have an Xbox 360 in a buddy's storage unit that I need desperately to get. If he's listening, give me my Xbox, and I will unblock you on my Discord. I will unban you from my Discord if you get me my Xbox. Just give it back to me. I need it, because I want to play Outrun Online Arcade for a thing. Top secret thing.
We also got to get Knights HD ported to current consoles. Yeah. Why is that still stuck on PS3, I think? Yeah, PS3.
You can play it
I think you can play it via...
X.
Oh, you can? Okay, so you can play it on Series X, and I think you can play it on PS4 via PS Now. But it isn't natively available, and I'd like to have it for Switch even. I mean, it's Knights. It's one of the most special games Sega's ever made. They should be making that available on everything.
I need them to stop locking stuff on stuff. I want to play some PS2 and some PS3 games, and I don't want to have to dig through a storage unit or a closet or a basement in order to do so. I want to be able to just this theoretical Netflix of video games can't happen soon enough. And I realize that Game Pass is pretty close, PlayStation Plus is pretty close, PlayStation Now is pretty close. None of them are nearly the Nintendo Switch Online pretty close. Nobody's actually there yet. Maybe the Nintendo Switch Online is the closest. Maybe that's the closest.
It probably is. Yeah.
Yeah. Game Pass is, well, when you have a Verizon gigabit Fios internet, Game Pass, I believe, is pretty close to. It's pretty close to a Netflix of video games.
Looking at Derek over here.
It's pretty close.
What's that?
Tim, are you admitting to us that you have God tier internet as well?
Yeah, it's really fast.
God damn it.
I mean, I didn't even get the best package here because we just saved money, but it was still better than what we had before, and it was like, all right, this will do the job for now.
Listen,
I lived in Brooklyn for 3 years, and I had Spectrum internet where I was getting like 0.5 megabit upload. It was, I couldn't stream for 3 years, and I just moved here to New York, Manhattan, Upper West Side, Jerry. I'm right by Jerry's Diner from Seinfeld. That's why I keep saying Jerry. and they just conveniently have the only internet available in this building is Verizon, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's like it's the FiOS. The gigabit. I'm like, okay,
cool.
I'm like,
what a shame. Don't twist my arm or anything. Yeah,
that's all you got.
The other internet option down here was Cox, and it's like, they're
not a fan of theirs.
We got faster internet for less money from them.
Once you've tasted the gigabit, everything is depressing. I'm going to tell you something. Being here with this gigabit, I was in non-gigabit prison for technically about 9 years. Because I had gigabit when I lived in Japan, so now I'm right back to where I was in about 2004. So this is good. America's weird, man. I don't understand why we don't just have a lot of stuff we don't have here. That would be pretty cool. You know,
I think the biggest weird thing about American internet is that we don't have symmetrical internet. So I'm in Arizona where I have gigabit download speeds, which means all my games install crazy fast. But if I want to upload this episode of Today's News Tonight, I'm looking at about an hour for 1 hour of video to upload for 7 gigs.
Oh, that sucks.
It takes me about 12-ish minutes to upload it. Then the processing takes goes how long, but
yeah. I'm in the middle there because we have Spectrum, but it's not too. We have like the higher tier, so we get like 400 down, 20 up, so it's not too bad.
That's not
kind
too
of
bad.
In the middle.
That's better than what I had down in Brooklyn. I had the highest one that was available in my neighborhood, and it was not their highest tier. It was real bad.
Yeah,
it was real bad.
That's awful.
I mean, people are going to need more internet, more like the internet speed is a really big deal for, especially with these new video game consoles where you can only store 1 terabyte on there. That's like it's like 5 games. Okay, and I mean, I know you can buy physical games if you want. I don't tend to not buy physical unless someone has put the fear of God into me about it, where they're like, you really need to get this game physical. If Konami releases a video game, I'm going to buy it physical, which they haven't made a video game in 800 years or whatever, so they're probably never going to make another game. But if Konami were to make a game, I would get it physical, because they'll just take it from me at some point.
True.
They took PT from people. You can't even launch PT anymore, is that true?
So here's the weird thing about PT. So the first thing I did when I got my PS5 review unit, it was
you ported it over?
PT. Yeah, I copied PT from my PS4, and it worked.
It does?
And then no.
The transport worked. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So no, even I launched it. It was the first thing I played on my PlayStation 5 when I got it.
Okay.
And
I'm ready for the story to get scary. Let's hear it.
Yeah, sometime during the review period, when I went to record a video of PT working on the PlayStation 5, Konami disabled it. So
that is ridiculous.
Yeah, they went out of their way to actually disable the game.
I heard some murmuring to that effect, so I guess that's somebody's got to blast that louder. When people like my buddy Frank Cifaldi of the Video Game History Foundation talk about game preservation, this is what they're talking about, man. It's unconscionable.
Mm-hmm.
This is different from the people trying to justify the Nintendo leaks and be like, we deserve to know this. It's like, you released PT.
Yeah.
They released it, and now they're just taking it back, right?
Yeah.
No, you can't take it. It is imprisoned in my PlayStation 4 Pro.
Same here.
And it is the reason I'm going to keep that PlayStation 4. Does it still run on PlayStation 4 Pro?
Yes.
Okay, okay. As long as they don't take it from me on there.
It's the reason I didn't sell my PS4 Pro, because I want to have a way to play the demo. So
that's the reason I kept my Xbox
now.
360s, because of Outrun Online Arcade.
Yep.
The only physical edition of that game is an Xbox. The only physical edition of PT is my white Destiny 2 PlayStation 4 Pro that I ported it over to. At least I can port it over to something.
Yeah.
I can't transfer Outrun Online Arcade over to my Xbox Series X, which, did I mention, I also have. Can you see it back there? It is also in the box. It arrived minutes before the stream. Just on the edge, on the cusp, I got the notification that it had arrived, and I went downstairs to get it.
We have a duo. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. The doorman piled it into my arms, and I was holding something. I'm like, God, this is a lot heavier than I thought it was. And then doorman puts the Xbox on top. I'm like, oh wait, what is this thing if it's not the Xbox?
Oh God!
And I carry like 50 pounds of stuff upstairs, and it turns out it was a case of Coke Zeros that I ordered about 2 months ago. So
Got your game
you love your sugar-free sodas and drinks.
I went. Oh, you gotta have them. I treat myself to one per day. This Red Bull is my treat. And I ran out of Coke Zeros, and it's hard to get them. They're not. They don't appear anywhere. Do you ever look at Is there anybody you don't follow on Twitter, but you go look at their Twitter every once in a while? Is there anybody like that for you?
Oh, not anymore.
So I've got John Carmack. John Carmack is a guy that I don't follow on Twitter for some reason. I just don't like my number going up. I treat it like golf. I don't like the following number going up. I visit his Twitter every once in a while, and usually when I visit his Twitter, I'm ready to view something that looks empathetic only to perhaps a space alien. I don't want to call the guy a weirdo, though he's different. He's not a different species of person, though he occasionally espouses weird political views that I view quaintly as they come from a person who just does not have a normal life experience by any measure. And I don't say that forgives him for having bad political opinions on occasion, though he'll often say stuff about, I don't know, light rendering or whatever. He'll often talk about 3D engine stuff that is just nonsense to me. And I basically, GPT-3 should be able to run in CPU inference mode on a single conventional big memory server instead of a specialized GPU cluster. I wonder just how slow that would be and what the optimal batch size would be. That's a tweet of his from November 8th, right? So I like going through and looking at those. There was a tweet of his last month where he said, "This Coke Zero shortage has to end. I need cans. This Coke Zero can shortage needs to end." And I was like, what? Never in my life did I expect to view words coming from this man that immediately I identified with. So it was a little exercise, and I say you should be afraid when you cannot immediately conjure empathy for any given person. I'm not saying I fear John Carmack. However, I felt very close to him in that moment. I know he loves. I reread Masters of Doom fairly recently, so I know that he drank a lot of Diet Coke during the production of Doom, during his invention, his birthing of the 3D engine as we know it. So, I know he drank a lot of Diet Coke, and I made fun of him in my video I did about Doom, where I was like, should be Coke Zero. I guess they didn't have Coke Zero back then. I'm just glad to know that he does prefer Coke Zero now. Like
it makes him a little more human.
Yeah. It's so important. I think in his tweet he had said Diet Coke or Coke Zero the shortage must end. And I was like, man, I can't find it either. It's always sold out of the supermarket. All the supermarkets in my neighborhood, they don't have it anymore. The supermarket downstairs has caffeine-free Diet Coke. What kind of psycho wants to deprive themselves of two things at once? That's weird, right? So I got on Amazon and I ordered 6 35 packs of Coke Zero, and one. And it was like estimated shipping time 6 to 8 weeks or whatever. Oof. And it's like one of them arrives every couple weeks. So today it's perfect. And at which point I say, Cokes is back on the menu, boys, is what I say every time to my little dog, Bibby Babbis. He likes to lick the condensation off the can when they're cold.
Again, you tease us with the presence of your dog, but we haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, we'll get Bibby Babbis out.
Yeah, we'll get Bibby Babbis during the post show.
I suppose we may continue to discuss the news now.
Yeah, we have a duo of Xbox stories here, so I'm just going to mash these up together. So first off, Microsoft is expecting Series X and S supply shortages to last until April 21. Mm-hmm. Additionally, they're saying they don't want Bethesda games to be exclusive, just better or best on Xbox.
I love that they're presenting that as a did that come in the same press release or what?
No,
because if so, that's cute is what I would say. It's a good little pair of news stories to pair together. It's like, oh, don't worry, there will be Skyrim 2 or whatever, Elder Scrolls 6 for PlayStation 5. Don't worry. That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah. We'll still make money from it, but it'll be better on the Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, technically, Skyrim was better on the 360 anyway, so.
That is true. That is true, right? Wasn't the PS3 version all just kind of trash
It was a
can?
mess.
Yeah, it kind of killed the
Yeah.
your save data. Like it just kept getting, the file size kept getting bigger and bigger, I think.
That was a
remember
situation where we all probably own both of the major consoles at a typical period in time, right? Maybe not right now, but we all owned both the PS3 and an Xbox 360, right? We're all serious players. Okay, so there were games where you had to choose which platform you were going to buy them on, right? This is a common gaming conundrum. Yes. So when Skyrim came out, I have this remarkable experience of I didn't even Google which version best or whatever. I didn't even Google it. I just bought the Xbox one, unthinking. I went to Target and I just like, oh, give me that one there, and the guy just got it for me. Did not even consider the PS3 version. Had not seen any news stories yet trashing the performance of the PS3 version. I just didn't even think about it. It just didn't even cross my mind. It's maybe because I so strongly associated Xbox 360 with Oblivion, which I played Oblivion on Xbox. So I think maybe that was it. I don't know. Though I just didn't think about it.
Yeah,
Isn't that's weird, isn't it?
It is interesting how we kind of subconsciously associate certain franchises to a specific platform. Like we were talking about this last week on the show, how Final Fantasy is like a PlayStation.
Oh yeah,
it's a PlayStation game, even if it's on Xbox. And
it'll always be a PlayStation game. It'll always be home on PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And
or
for
Super
me, I
Nintendo.
associate like Assassin's Creed with Xbox because that's where I played the original Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Me too.
So there's like a subconscious thing that goes on there where you kind of just are at home on a specific platform with certain games. One thing I did want to point out is I did have a typo in my copy here.
That's my fault.
The article actually says games will be first or best on Xbox. So they're saying
First or best?
Yeah.
Don't ask
Not
an
both.
American to make that
Not
choice.
Yeah.
No, that's like saying they'll be
Either or.
first or biggest or best. Present that dilemma to any red-blooded, meat-eating American like myself, and head's gonna blow up. You know, gonna pop like a melon. It's gonna pop.
Yeah.
That's
I do
first
or
biggest or best. They didn't say
I have to
biggest,
ask
did
you kind of an inside baseball question here, Tim. I remember because I somehow was like in the periphery of this happening, but you filmed a video all about the milkshakes at Bethesda's E3 booth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did they get pissed? Like, were they like, we invited you into our booth and this is the content you produce?
Because there was no invitation. We did that. We did all those guerrilla style. We shot like 40 of those videos at like every booth we could, and then they had some. I feel sorry for that. That was the one example of all the work I did as a full-time employee at Kotaku that someone else edited.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I edited everything else myself. Every god darn 15 frame transition, just like hand hard coded myself. Not hard coded. I know what that word means. I'm sorry for using it as a joke. Yes, I did that weird Bethesda, but Bethesda has a thing against Kotaku. Like they don't talk to Kotaku or whatever. So none of those.
Right.
They leaked some news was leaked to them, and they published it.
Kotaku published an early script for Fallout 4.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that what it was?
And
I
Bethesda got
remember that.
pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, Fallout 4 sucks. Did you play Fallout 4?
I did. I made a guy named Monster and tried to make him the most
Monster.
despicable human to ever live.
Oh my god,
Like
guy
he
named
had like
Monster.
a bright orange comb over, just
How
scars
precious.
Game
all
I
over
had
his face.
I had a good time with that Outer Worlds game. Did you all play that?
Didn't get a
assuming-
chance.
I did
I
not
played
play
a bit
that.
of it.
I played a bit of it on my Xbox where it was free on Game Pass, and then
Right.
Then I thought, what am I doing? And I loaded it up on PC, and instantly 240 frames per second. So it was pretty good. If you're not up on the 240 yet, everybody, get in on my level. Try out the 240. It's pretty good. 240 is a pretty decent frame rate to get.
Decent frame rate.
Yeah, good enough.
Only
It's
works in 1080p for most stuff. Somebody should do a YouTube video where they talk to a retina specialist and an optic nerve specialist and try to discern what the frame rate is of the human eye.
Can we expect you to review frame rates on Action Button? Like just
I
the
mean,
concept of frame rates.
I might have just subtly indicated the sort of thing that I'm working on.
He's been plugging things all night, Steve. I think we can
is-
count on this.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and say this is if you're listening to this and you care about my stuff, that's something that I am definitely doing. I am getting an optic nerve specialist and a retina specialist. Both have agreed to appear on camera and debate frame rate versus resolution.
Wow.
Nice.
And we're going to determine which one does the human, because I am sick of the snippy little dogs chasing their tails of an argument. Two dogs chasing each other's tail, which is weird, of arguments that happens every time there's, for example, a new video game, period, or a video game on multiple platforms, or, God forbid, a new console launch, as we're in the middle of right now, a new generation of consoles. You still see the phrase, the human eye can't tell the difference between blank, right? Between 30 FPS and 60 FPS, which is insane. Sorry to use the word insane. It is deranged. Sorry to use the word deranged. It is terrible for you to constantly keep saying there's a lot of stuff wrong with the internet. Misinformation, disinformation, bad information. There is a lot wrong. It turns out the information age, only this much of the information is valid or good or useful. So to just see these phrases, and I mean, we used to use the word meme to describe this. Now you can't even call it a meme anymore. These memes, such as, the human eye can't really tell the difference, just espoused. Is that the right word? Espoused as though it is the complete truth, when really it's not. It's just, you use a phrase like the human eye can't tell the difference, and then everyone just assumes, that person knows what they're talking about. Like my human eyes are messed up, okay? However, I have positions I can sit in where I can see, I can tell the difference between 4K and 1080p just fine. I can tell the difference between 60 and 30 just fine. Let me tell you, 144 and 60 is a bigger difference than 60 and 30.
Really?
240 and 144 is not as much a difference. You get diminishing returns at that point. However, they're talking about 360 hertz displays.
Jesus,
bring it to me. Bring it to me. I'm working on a
Well,
video.
it is interesting because making a blanket statement like that, of course, is ridiculous and it's not true. But Derek, you've been pretty vocal about the fact in the past that you really don't think you can perceive the difference between 30 and 60.
I have a hard time.
Right?
I have a
You have
really
a hard time?
Yeah.
It's okay, so I've talked to many people about this, and I've listened to many perspectives. It's it's okay to say you have a hard time with it. It's definitely okay. However, you're not getting on the internet and typing "the human eye can't tell the difference," right?
Exactly.
No,
You're at least
it's just my own
you're at least
thing.
you're at least respectful of people who can tell the difference.
Yeah.
So
it's one of
what
those
I'm
things
assuming,
like I can't tell, but it doesn't really
Yeah.
bother me. But you guys do you.
yeah. See, so
Right.
that's cool. And what I'm getting out of that is that you may not own a Ferrari-sized PC, is what I'm guessing.
No, I do
So
not.
it's when you have a freakish, unholy PC, that's when you just pass. You cross the point of no return. You just can't go back. So it's like I'm old enough to remember when every video game was 60 FPS, and it makes me real sad to see arguments in like the comments on YouTube pages where someone's like, "Oh, too bad this upload of Kid Icarus long play isn't in 60 FPS," and someone goes, "You idiot moron," except they use like much worse words.
Yeah.
"You idiot moron. It's a pixel art game. Pixel art doesn't need 60 FPS." It's like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
of these games were 60 FPS, and it was beautiful. So
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw such a comment. I was just recently looking at a long play on YouTube of Slalom for NES. You all know Slalom by Rare, one of the best.
Yeah.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of the best NES games. That game's beautiful. Runs at a beautiful, silky smooth frame rate. It's just a miracle of engineering ingenuity that they came up with a game that smooth with no slowdown on the NES at that point. and someone was like, "Oh, why is this? I wish this was 60 FPS because you're really good at the game." And then someone just dogpiling on the guy. A one-person dogpile, somewhat sad.
Oh my gosh!
And it's like, oh, I don't know, it is a 60 FPS. It's like, oh, this game is not 60 FPS. It was for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it's like, why is that an opinion that keeps getting thrown around? Another opinion is like, oh, it's impossible to emulate a Sega Saturn. It's like, no, it's not.
Right.
You can emulate the heck out of a Sega Saturn. It's beautiful.
60 FPS has become a shorthand for being technically impressive, really. With
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
folks.
Yeah, and it's not that big a deal. Because, I mean, I got The Witcher 3 running in max specs on 120 over here. 21.9, 1440p, ultra wide. Like, I mean, 60 FPS isn't that big a deal anymore. And there'll always be this constant battle between frame rate and resolution. And even I'm not looking forward to having to choose between ray tracing. Because I accidentally crossed that threshold, too. I know what ray tracing is. I mean, I knew what it was. And now I, like, have tactile, hands-on experience playing a video game with the ray tracing turned on at 60 FPS on my PC, and I'm just like, man, I know exactly what ray tracing is. I don't want to have to choose between that and 60 FPS. So this console generation is already over.
Yeah,
in my mind. I'm already over it. I'm gonna love all the games. I'm gonna love them, though.
Tim is on the next generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Already.
He's bringing on the
Thanks to
PS6.
his refrigerator-sized GPU.
As the developer of an upcoming game with much ray tracing that runs at 120 frames per second in 4K, truck heck, everybody. As the developer of such a game, I'm constantly cursed to always be thinking about the next generation. So if I sound blasé about the PlayStation 5, I'm sorry. I am gonna love it as soon as I plug it in. It's just right now it's not in the box. You want to know my review of the consoles? Is the handle on the PlayStation 5 box broke when I first picked it up.
It's too heavy.
And then
Oh, really?
the Xbox Series Xbox doesn't have a handle.
Xbox Series Xbox.
That's my review. That's where I'm at so far in my assessment of who's gonna win the console war. That's all I've got so far. So that's
nice.
Yeah.
So we've got one final story. Real quick.
Oh, let's do it.
Today is Shigeru Miyamoto's birthday. He is 68 years old.
Whew!
That's
Wow.
hard. That's a hard pill for me to swallow.
Yeah.
being nearly
Same.
40 myself.
68. That means he
And
was
so I
28 when I was
68.
born.
Yeah.
27 when I was
27.
born.
Yeah. And
Old boy.
I think about that. He was 30 when I was born. And I met him, I want to say 3 years ago, E3 2017. And it was just the most happenstance kind of meeting. Like, I was walking down. If you've never been to E3, there's the show floor, and then there's all the crap in between. And it's basically like a dead hallway where nothing's happening. And I was going between the two kind of main sections of the E3 show floor, and he just kind of randomly popped out of a meeting room or something and was starting to walk past me. And fortunately, like, I managed to stammer out a request for a selfie in Japanese to him. And he was just super nice about it. He was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And took a couple
awesome.
pictures with me and went on his way.
Shigeru
And
Miyamoto.
Nice.
I forever regret not having had like a copy of Mario or something with me, because I
know.
absolutely would have asked him to sign
That's-
it.
I never bring my own games with me to E3 because I don't think about that sort of stuff. It's just like, if it was whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I'm working, and
Yeah.
so I never think to like do fan stuff while I'm there.
You want to know a fun experience I had with an autograph once was at a Tokyo Game Show 2004. Sony had just announced that they were backing a PSP full 3D remake of Landstalker.
Oh, okay.
Landstalker is my favorite video game of all time. I keep that knowledge secret most of the time. I went to a used game store. I at this point did not own any game consoles. I was living in a flop house with a bunch of punk rockers, and smelling like trash and cabbage all day. And I went to a used game store in Akihabara, Furenzu, my favorite little store there, and I bought for 800 yen a copy of Landstalker.
Nice.
And I brought it to Tokyo Game Show because I knew Kan Naito was there because I saw him at the booth. He alone was at the booth with the little CRT TV with a trailer for this Landstalker, and I just walked up to, and I just saw him and said hi to him, and then I'm like, I'll just get a copy of Landstalker and bring it day 2, and he was still there.
Nice.
So maybe that's not as exciting as your Shigeru. If only Shigeru Miyamoto were sitting in the same place for all of E3.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't he do that? Kan Naito did.
That E3 was the luckiest one, like in terms of just meeting people. I ended up bumping into Eiji Aonuma in a hallway too. Same exact kind of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really he at first was like, no, I'm not going to take a damn picture with you. And then he like started walking off, and I don't know. I wish I knew what happened, but he like randomly just changed his mind and came back real quick. And I also
look good to the Americans.
That's odd. That's odd and interesting.
That same year, I got shoved out of the way by Hideo Kojima's bodyguards.
Oh, that rules.
That was also
that's almost a better story.
Like, he's
Hideo Kojima, he kicked me in the nuts once. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
I was just trying to one-up you, and the lie was too obvious. I'm sorry.
I think that same year, I was able to take a selfie with Iga, Koji Igarashi,
nice.
And he did the whole pose. Yeah, but he was not. Something had happened that day, and he did it, and he was very kind to me. But you could tell that he did not want to be bothered. I felt so bad, but he still did it. And once I asked him, and I could tell that I was like, "Oh, it's okay. He's like, "No, come on." Really nice guy, but you could tell he was having a bad day. I felt terrible.
The only thing
I've got a
close to
selfie
that,
with Iga on my Instagram. I'm gonna try to find it for y'all. I'll try to find it.
My most
close to that. Ash, you were with me at the time when we were playing the Mega Man Legacy Collection at E3, or was it? Yeah, it had to be E3, and we turned around and there was Inafune watching us play.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh, that guy rules.
And we had just done Mighty Number 9, like played the demo for Mighty Number 9 there. I was like, yeah, it has promise.
You know, Fune. Everybody, perhaps you know Fune means boat. Inafune.
Yes.
So my friend Brandon Sheffield consistently refers to Keiji Inafune as Keiji in a boat. So you all can have that as well. You all can borrow that from him. He won't mind if you borrow his joke.
Tim Lair is asking, did any of you guys ever meet Kamiya? He is so nice in person. And actually, Wataniak already answered, but Derek and I both met him. We interviewed him at PAX East this year, right?
Yeah,
PAX East this year.
You handled questions. I was on camera.
Right. And he's a really nice guy. And actually, Wataniak also brought up something I was going to mention here. My most treasured autograph from anybody in the game industry is I got to meet Yoko Shimomura, and she took a selfie with me, and she signed my Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 soundtrack. And it was like one of the greatest moments of my life. She's such a sweet person, so humble. And, and to me, she's like the greatest musician who's ever lived. So for me she's just so humble, and she's it was a really, really special experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yoko Shimomura is cool.
Oh yeah.
I met Michiru Yamane a bunch of times.
Nice.
Yeah, she was pretty cool. That's all I have. We talked about the soundtrack to Goemon too, and we talked about
that's awesome.
The Goemon series is so good.
Tokimeki Memorial soundtrack. You all, I just want to float this out there. The Tokimeki Memorial soundtrack is one of the best video game soundtracks I've ever heard. There are over 100 tracks, and it is done by 90s Konami masters. It is just masterful. Yeah. I just spent 500 hours on this game to do this review that I'm putting together right now. And you can hear much of the music in my review when it eventually launches. Incredible music.
Nice.
I actually, speaking of 90s, I need to. Speaking of 90s Konami, for whatever reason, I woke up this morning with the music for the first stage of Buster Bust Loose playing in my head. I have no idea why. It's such a great game.
I've not played that.
Great
I only played the NES Tiny Toon game.
But that's a day in the...
He just won't stop busting.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, a day in the life of Ash Paulson. You wake up with random Super Nintendo first level themes playing in your head.
Yeah, seriously.
Nice. All right, guys. So I think we've reached the end of the news. So we might be ready. Oh, there we go. Look, we made it.
We got dog.
Oh yes,
My
he's
baby's
so
here.
cute. Or she.
It's little. He's he. Little
He's
baby
so
Babas.
cute.
That's adorable.
I
What
can't
an
even
adorable
deal.
puppy. I'm gonna let's have him hang
He's
out
not a
through the
puppy.
sign-off here.
He's a full-grown dog.
Oh yeah,
He's just-
Pomeranian, right?
Yeah, he's a Pomeranian.
Adorable.
He's
Yeah.
apparently a particularly small one as well. So people always ask
How
us.
cute.
And he's sleepy
Whenever
'cause
we
he's
encounter
yawning
people
twice.
with other Pomeranians, they ask, "Oh, is he a teacup?" And it's like, that's not. There is no teacup.
There are
Pomeranian
teacup
breed.
poms,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
Those are
it's not a-
Yorkies.
It's
Yeah.
not a breed. It's he's just a little Pomeranian. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to call him a teacup.
That's like my girlfriend has a Shiba Inu, and she's only half the size. So
Nice.
I saw a full size Shiba Inu once. I'm like, holy crap, it's huge! Like I'm so used to
Yeah.
the tiny version.
Yeah, they're pretty big. Shiba Inus are rough, man. You ever hang
Yeah.
out with one of those? That's a
All the time.
dangerous
So
dog.
cute though.
There's my selfie with Koji Igarashi. I've linked it in the Discord
Oh,
chat.
nice.
Oh, cool.
Oh, very nice.
That's me.
Yeah.
and
Alright.
Iga.
All right, folks. So with that, I think we've covered all the major headlines for today's news. Before we sign off, though, Tim, where can we find you, man?
Check me out on twitter.com. I'm just the number 108 on Twitter. And this, I mean, there's a long story about why I have that account. It gets the hackers attempt to steal it from me at least once a month, and it's very scary. However, I also have youtube.com/actionbutton. Action
Nice.
button. And twitch.tv/actionbutton. Twitter.com/actionbutton. I've got Instagram.com. No, I don't have the Instagram. I've got action button on everything valuable. Discord.gg/actionbutton.
And your Patreon is also patreon.com/actionbutton, right?
Patreon.com/actionbutton.
Can't
But-
leave that one out.
No,
You
but
know how
we're,
valuable Patreon is.
I'm kind of full up on money over there, so you all don't need to. You don't need to back me on Patreon if you don't want to. You
So
don't have
humble.
to. I mean, if there are backer benefits, they're not listed on the page. You just have to back and trust. So I'm actually taking a slightly different approach. Who knows if there is anything secret that happens when you join? Who knows? So
Oh.
I just
Alright,
I won't
The mystery
advert-
box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Fuku
The
Bukuro,
loot box
the lucky
of
bag.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Tim, Azran is asking the important question here. Do you have actionbutton.com/actionbutton? That's the important one.
I'll get right on it. I do believe there should be something at the action button subdomain or directory.
Action,
I have actionbutton.net. I have
actionbutton.
actionbutton.com. I have actionbutton.biz. I don't use the .biz. The .biz is for narcs, so I don't use that one. Actionbutton.dog.
Ooh, that's the best
the
one
important
right there.
Dude,
Yeah.
gbg.dog is a pretty good domain name. We may have to snap that up.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, before we sign off, we have to give special thanks to all of our patrons at the producer tier for helping make this show happen. In addition, a massive thank you to our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. Sorry. Those fine
happens.
folks are Rob RManX, Dan and Twistle, Z Patty, Adam O'Sullivan, Floating Mew, Christopher, The D-Pad, Vesmio, OnStar, Dukemon, Diogo, Kieran Phillips, Benny Yao, Rosa Bowling, hi mom, Geller, Shiny Turkey, Titus Malvolio, Jake Pelka, Michael Phone, Mitchell Herring, Top Dog 23100, Jay Acosta, Hey Notch, and Game Explain. Remember, you can also join us over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where for $5 a month, you can join us for the live recordings of today's news tonight. And you can get now an audio version, which will give you an MP3 you can play in your favorite podcast app. Make sure to subscribe to make sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming if you liked this video. And until next time, good night and good vibes. Bye.
Good night, everybody.